Andor Season 2 is the concluding season of the Andor story that is going to lead us up to Rogue One. Andor is trying to figure out a way to work with the rebellion and trying to figure out what is happening to the Gorman people as the Empire is ruining their planet of its resources. Andor Season 1 was a big surprise for me in terms of presentation, quality, story. That show had no right to be as good as it was, but it is, in my opinion, the best thing Star Wars has done since the prequel trilogy, and that's kind of sad. Or if in terms of Disney, since Rogue One, which this is a prequel of. And Season 2 is supposed to end that story, and I just want to get my flaws out of the way because I want to praise the shit out of this show. I think the overall pacing of this season is a little bit sloppier than Season 2. Not that it's a sloppy season. I understand the story all throughout and it is very engaging. But I felt like I could have used a few more episodes getting invested with these stories, with these characters, what's going on. It's basically the same problem that I had with Arcane Season 2 and Has Been Hotel Season 1. Like, I really enjoy those shows. They are great works of animation. But the episode count and time that is given to those shows to tell their stories, I think could have been given a lot more stuff to explore and a little bit more time to explore the characters and situations that they have to present. And it could have made those stories even more engaging than they are. And I think that is my same problem that I have with Andor Season 2. Now, with that said, this is a banger of a season and peak television. The characterization of Andor, Luthen, Mon Mothma, Biggs, everyone in this show is great. How they present these characters as flawed individuals, doing their best to try and navigate their way through the Empire and try to figure out a way to take them down. They're trying to uncover the mystery of what's going on in Gorman and why the Empire is so adamant in trying to take out its natural resources there, especially one specific one that can power their Death Star. I think it is engaging, and how they manipulate the Gormans in doing what they do in the show to benefit their own means of success makes the Empire feel threatening again. It makes them feel like intimidating forces of nature that should be feared by everyone. And now we get even more reason to hate the Empire, as not just like a government that does have an evil ruler and such or so, and the movies just make it seem like they do bad stuff here and there, but man, Andor makes pure evil. It makes living with the Empire feel like a nightmare, especially for people who are not of a higher class. And we understand even more so why they are adamant at forming a rebellion against the Empire, how that rebellion sparks, and how that spark will never light down as we see the Empire try and take away these people's livelihoods. It makes them more inspired to try and go up against them. Now, no matter what they do, the rebellion just grows and grows and grows. And yes, people like Luthen do questionable things in order to make this rebellion happen. There are decisions that him and Mon Mothma make in the show that are necessary for them to be able to have that victory in Return of the Jedi. There are a bunch of sacrifices that these characters have to make in order for them to succeed. And it's never them being bitter with each other. It's them understanding that they are in a bad circumstance and that they're doing this to each other or for each other for the sake of a sunrise that some of them know they will never see. And how that is present throughout Luthen's character here, and how he basically carries the themes of the show on his shoulders, I think was excellent, and how they portrayed him, especially near the end of the season when we learn more about his past, his human side, I think was excellent, especially along with his assistant that helps him out. I think was great. The action, while very sparse here in the show, admittedly, I think was very well done. It feels grounded, it feels dirty, it feels like the Empire is heartless, especially the stormtroopers here. They feel scary whenever they're on screen. There's a sense of intimidation that wasn't there in other Disney Plus shows or even in the original trilogy. They really did make the Empire feel threatening, especially with the K2 units and how they're presented here. They are forces of nature. Oh my god. And the Gorman scene that you know that I'm talking about, if you've seen the show, just one of my favorite conclusions of any story arc in this show. How the Gorman ending happens and how everything led to this moment just felt perfect. Remember that guy in season 1 that's so adamant in finding Andor, and he formed a relationship with one of his superiors and is doing everything for the sake of the Empire that he believes in, only to find out that what they're doing is going against his beliefs, and he slowly learns that as the show goes on. When he finally reaches his conclusion, it feels almost right, because it feels like he's working for nothing. You'll understand what I'm talking about when you see the show if you haven't, but he is a character that wants to be something so bad, but at the end of the day, there are just some people here in the show that, because we never heard about them before, they will never be remembered, even if they do serve an important part to this story. At the end of the day, some people were just nobodies who were left to be forgotten, and that is kind of a sad reality that this show understands very well, and it makes these characters feel real. They make them feel flawed, and I absolutely loved it. Ever since Disney picked up Star Wars, they did a lot of good stuff in terms of making the story of the rebellion itself and how they formed feel engaging, and how Mon Mothma character was done to help spearhead this rebellion and help it get to where it is today, I think was really well done. It made the character feel authentic, feel real, and feel like she had a lot to lose, and she makes a lot of tough decisions in order to have this rebellion be formed. She literally sacrifices everything, including Andor, his love, his family, his search for his sister, everything that made Andor who he was before in the beginning of this season has now eroded away as he starts getting more into this rebellion and starts believing in him more, despite Luthen being a pain in his ass and making him do things he doesn't want to do. His relationship with Biggs and how that is straining a whole lot because of the Empire and his chokehold of this entire galaxy. Like, these two truly do care for one another, but it's really hard for them to be able to be together because of everything that's happening. And it made this relationship feel so real and so authentic that you want a happy ending for it. But if you've seen Rogue One, you know that happy ending is never going to come, and just watching it erode is devastating. All in all, Andor Season 2, despite some pacing issues and me wanting a bit more time with these characters, is brilliant. It is peak Star Wars storytelling at its finest. It feels like its own unique story, its own unique tone, but it fits very well with the Star Wars canon, and I think helped amplify the importance of the original trilogy so much so that now when you watch season 1, 2 of Andor and Rogue One, you understand the rebellion themselves now, and you are just as much with them as you are with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo Princess Leia, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2. You are with these characters along with the rebellion themselves. They're not just a side character anymore. They are a group of individuals who have had it with the Empire, and you understand everything that they've been through. And it just made the original trilogy all that more engaging. Seriously, the story of Andor and Rogue One is absolutely incredible. And for that, I'm going to give Andor Season 2 an A. I can't give it that perfect grade as much as I want to because of some of its problems with the pacing, but all in all, this is what Star Wars should strive to be. None of this act like bullshit, none of this Obi-Wan Kenobi or Ahsoka TV show nonsense. I need good Star Wars storytelling that doesn't rely on nostalgia, instead relying on a good, engaging story. Because if what I heard is true, in that the finale of the show made it to the #1 charts of streaming, then I think we can actually call Andor an official success and something that Disney should look at more so to do in the future. And if they do something as good as Andor later on, I think we're in for a brighter future Star Wars. I hope. They could fuck it up, really. They could. They've done it before, they could do it again. But Andor Season 2, go support it. If you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.